your roommate could come in and just impersonate you, basically.
And steal your dates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. Or have a threesome in the park across the road, which, hey there, Mark. Hey, I'm Darren.
Hi, I'm Gordon.
And this is BackRoom Chats,
Welcome to episode 2 of BackRoom Chats.
where we talk about gay stuff and particularly gay sex and kink.
Yeah.
Where are we going to start this week?
Well, I thought we thought about this week talking about our dating pre-Grindr.
Yes.
Because, I mean, obviously we've been together 24 years, so we don't really know dating post-Grindr because Grindr didn't exist when we started dating. So we might need to get a guest in to talk about that one day. Maybe, but yeah. But anyway, dating pre-Grindr and pre-having the internet in your pocket all day, every day. So
we're talking about late 90s, early 2000s here.
Yep.
It was a very different space. People actually went out to clubs and talked to people.
Yeah.
It's funny that.
Which actually, I will give the kink scene one thing. It is a very communal scene in the clubs that we've been to. People do actually talk to each other and they have conversations, and it's more so than just a general nightclub scene, which doesn't seem to be the same. So
yeah,
from our experience anyway. So, but yes, I guess start with the internet in the living room. The old dial-up, insert dial-up sound effect here if I can find it.
So back when computers were still like late 90s, they were popular, but still they were expensive enough that you only really got one per household.
That was even our communal flat that we lived in with our flatmate when we first met. We only had one computer in the living room.
Yeah.
So
it had to be in the living room. Like there was no laptops, there's no iPads, no iPods even.
no, and you definitely couldn't get porn on your phone. That was non-existent.
Well, getting porn on your computer was bad enough as well, because being dial-up, you didn't have super fast internet. Things took a while.
Yeah, you sat there for 10 minutes waiting for one photo to load to find out it was crap.
Yeah. Yep. Exactly right. And like a lot of times with loading of photos back then, it wasn't just, it loaded and it was there. It was more like it would load a fuzzy box first, and then each line would get a bit clearer, and then it would get a bit clearer again. A bit like ChatGPT and generative AI now, but
we don't talk about AI here.
but a lot slower. And it was really line by line by line by line. Yeah. And then maybe at the end of it, you got to see a dick.
Maybe if you're lucky and you didn't download the wrong file or download a virus, which can completely destroy your computer. So, yeah.
So porn was very slow. Was it hard to find? No, not really.
Not really. You could get it from, I think LimeWire even had porn.
Did it really?
Yeah, or one of those Trojan. Back in the day, everything was on Trojans. I guess they probably are these days too, but we don't go down that line. But everything was downloaded illegally, and yeah, it was. Once you found your source, it was pretty easy. But it was slow, really, really slow. So, yeah.
So, for example, we talked about LimeWire there. Music on LimeWire, one song could take a day, could take
a week.
a week. It really
depends on how many times somebody wanted to use the house phone, because the house phone was connected to the internet, and if you wanted to use a house phone, you had to disconnect the internet.
That's right. They all use the same cable.
Yep.
So the reason why we're talking about a computer in the living room is because that's where the chat rooms were.
Yep. So you didn't have Grindr, Scruff,
Tinder,
all the other dating apps that are out there now. Back when I started, it was gay.com. There was a few other ones, Gaydar and what was the other one? There was...
I don't know. I just knew gay.com.
Oh, okay. Yeah, well, there was gay.com. Gay.com was the main one. So, especially for us here in Australia, I'm assuming it was everywhere else worldwide, but for us, we had gay.com, and it was a chat room.
So each city had their own room, basically.
I guess you could call it like a Discord is now, maybe, or like a Slack group is now, sort of.
But a lot slower.
A lot slower because it was dial-up, and
So the first question everyone asked on that was ASL. So if you haven't heard of that, that's age, sex, location.
Yep. Which seems a bit redundant now, considering it was a gay chat room, so you'd assume everyone was at least male.
But then again, also like nowadays everyone has a photo, so you can sort of at least judge how they're presenting.
Yes.
If nothing else.
Yes.
But
back then there was nothing.
yeah, ASL was the only thing you had, and there was no, you're 100 meters away. It was, you had to type in your suburb.
Yep. You didn't know whether the guy next door was gay or not. And you had to, unless you saw him walking in and out of his unit.
Yeah. But yeah, so that was always interesting, and obviously if you forgot to log off between chats, your roommate could come in and just impersonate you, basically.
And steal your dates.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep, or have a threesome in the park across the road, which, hey there, Mark.
Yeah. Park across the road from Cathedral. Wow, that was an open park.
Yep.
Fair enough. Yep.
But yeah, so, I can't think of any. Well, I can think of a couple of stories. Can you think of any stories first?
It just made everything a lot harder back then, I guess. But I mean, we didn't know any different, so it wasn't that hard. And I mean, I guess it was probably easier than when people before us were trying to date without any form of internet, and you had to work out whether they were gay or not to start with, so the old shell necklace or the earring in the correct ear, left or right ear. Which one was it?
I might have had the shell necklace.
He had the shell necklace.
Yeah.
He had the shell necklace. He had a few shell necklaces.
And I didn't know it was a gay thing either. I just wore them because I thought they were cool.
Yep.
That's how out of touch I was. Well, I won't say naive, but...
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was.
So, I remember I agreed to hook up with someone in a chat room. I think I can't even remember if we swapped photos or anything like that. Probably not back then, because no one had photos of themselves.
I had a webcam, so...
Yeah, but the photos back then were like this big.
Yeah. That was considered big.
And I mean, like, when you went out as well, like, you didn't have to worry about what you did because no one was taking photos of you, because no one's carrying a camera with them.
No.
But anyway, back to the story. So I caught a ferry across the Brisbane River, got off, they met me at the ferry terminal, and he said, "You look like a bit of a space cadet." I'm gone, "Oh, what now?" Had no idea what that meant. Apparently, I looked like I was on drugs, so that was always good. Got to their place, and he had a partner there as well. And they went,
"Hey." They always had a partner.
Yeah, they always had a partner. They proceeded to get me high on weed, and it happened to be a very strong dose. And I wasn't very good at that, apparently. I basically got canatotic. And they had to deal with me, and I had to lie in their bed until it wore off, basically. So that was a great hookup.
That would have been a fun hookup for them. I bet you they'd hook up with you again.
Nope, not at all. But yeah, so that's the sort of thing that could have happened. Like, no one thought about being raped or drugged or anything like that. You just
it was
went
probably a bit of a safer time in that side of things because it was a lot harder to actually get onto the not harder to get onto, but you had to actually be invested to get onto the apps or in this case the chat rooms.
You had to make an effort. Is what it is.
Yeah, you're not just.
You had to reserve time on the communal computer.
You had a sign in book. You had to sign in and sign out at certain times a day.
Yeah, you had to make sure no one else was around to see what you were doing, because
especially if you're still living at home.
Yeah,
I didn't have that problem personally, but
yeah. But yeah, it was very interesting, and yeah, good old gay.com.
Yeah.
But
I did
gay.com, besides just hooking up, we met quite a few friends there, which was good.
It was a great community as well. Like it was definitely probably more of a community than it was than we've found these days, other than obviously out in the clubs in the kink scene and stuff like that. But it was definitely a community thing where you'd always jump on at the same time every day, and you'd be talking to the same people every day, and you become friends with them, whether they were hookup friends or whether they were just friends, and you meet people at the clubs, and then you'd go, oh, you on gay.com? Yeah, on gay.com. Oh, what's your handle? And because you didn't use your real name either, it was like you had handles and different names and stuff like that. So we had usernames. That's it. And you'd end up talking to your friends on there as well as hooking up. So there was the main communal chat, and then you could DM people as well, or direct message people as well. So, or private chat, I think it was called back then.
Yeah. Yep. That's right. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where you did your hookups and you shared your photos and stuff like that, which was hard to share, but
So besides the computer, obviously the other place you went to hook up was basically
nightclubs.
Yeah. Or pubs.
Yeah.
To be honest, there's a lot more pubs in Australia than there are nightclubs that are gay friendly. So it's a lot more casual. When I lived in Brisbane City itself, I was like a 5-minute walk to most of them. So it made it really easy. I was also working in hospitality at the time, so I often had days off during the week. So you'd find me on a Tuesday night, on a Monday night, Thursday night, all basically pretty much any night.
Yep. So in Brisbane we have. There is slightly more now, but we have 3 main clubs/pubs. You got the Wickham, which back in the day was fantastic. I can't vouch for what it is this day. Last time I went there, it got a little bit pretentious in my opinion, but still good bar. You had the Beat. That was great in my early days. It was really good. I walk in there now, I feel like I'm 80. I'm not 80. And then you had the Sporties. Back then I didn't go to the Sporties because I was too scared to. But and all 3 were within walking distance of each other. Sporties was a bit further away, but it was they were all within walking distance of each other. So
yeah, Wickham was definitely my bar of choice because it opened early and it was a pub. Sundays they had pokey promos, so an hour where you won prizes and drink tickets and things like that.
It was a few days a week, didn't they?
The main one I went to was on a Sunday afternoon.
Yeah.
They also had, this was before alcohol tax, so they also had happy hours. I think at the Wickham on a Sunday it was 80-cent pots of VB, which is
about that big.
Yeah, but it's 80 cents for a drink of beer.
Yeah.
Not very nice beer, but when they're 80 cents, it doesn't really matter.
Yeah.
They went up 20 cents every single hour on the hour until they got to the grand total of $1.80, and then it went back down to 80 cents for an hour.
And by that stage, it was 9 p.m, I think. And
Yeah.
then they're kicking back into normal pricing, which wasn't that expensive back then.
Yeah, and whoa! Those were some good days because you could literally sit at a table. People would buy a round of drinks and not think twice about it because it'd cost $5.
$50 or $100 as it would now.
Yeah, I mean, like a big night going out drinking at the Beat, I used to go through maybe $75, $80 for a night, and
That's a big night back then.
That was a big night because spirits were $4.50 if I remember.
Yeah, sounds about right, yeah.
Mind you, I always thought I had a great tolerance for alcohol. I didn't realise they were only half nips until many years later. So all that time and I was getting ripped off. So that's always fun to work out that. But obviously at the clubs there's plenty of ways to hook up. I mean, the best ones were when some of them had a bar that was a U shape. So, you know, you could sit on one side of the bar, eye up the guy on the other side of the bar. That was usually easy because you were looking at them anyway. So if they showed any interest, well, you were in.
Yep.
That was very easy. I remember one of my first boyfriends I met that way, and he turned out to be his first night out on parole. But we won't go there.
Before he knew me, obviously.
No, it was good.
I have never been in jail.
Plenty of other ways. Most of it was just, you know, sitting in one spot and staring at someone long enough until they looked at you.
Yeah. It was, yeah, like I was always a very shy guy, so I found it a little bit harder to hook up in the clubs. But at the same time, generally by the end of the night, there was always somebody left that was worth hooking up with. So,
And back then, before lockout rules and things like that, the clubs were open till 5 a.m. So
7 a.m. at one stage.
7 a.m. sometimes in summer, which was even better. So like you'd be able to sit there all night, wait until the ugly lights come on, and
If you had no luck, you catch the train home.
yes, that's exactly it. But yeah, I remember there was sometimes, one particular night I remember I ended up far, far away from the middle of the city in a caravan. I don't know how I got there, but I hooked up with a guy in a caravan and basically opened the door the next morning and saw, oh, this is a caravan park. Oh, look, across the road, there's a train station. I got on that train super duper fast and got out of there. Because I had no idea how I got there in the first place.
Yep. Once again, that was not me.
No, this is all before Gordon, so.
I think probably the best night I had out was I hooked up twice in a night, and a proper hook up twice in a night. Like I hooked up with a guy early in the night. We went back to his place, which was not far away, and then did the deed. He kicked me out because his boyfriend was coming home. So I went, oh, let's go back to the club then, and hooked up again about 3 a.m. and took that guy home. So yeah, it was fun nights.
So after obviously you've hooked up with someone, like no one had a phone on them. I mean, no one had a phone number because it was a home phone. So again, communal phone. So you'd wake up the whole house if someone called or you know, everyone else in the house would answer. You'd have things like MSN chat. So like Facebook chat, Facebook messages, yep. But a very, very early version of it. So Gordon and I, after we met, we talked on that. That was the way we communicated, basically,
yep.
Wasn't it?
Yep.
Backwards and forwards?
Yeah, backwards and forwards, and yeah.
Compared stats for the week?
Yep. Before we actually started going out officially.
Yeah, I
or
think
even unofficially.
Yeah, I think there was one week where we were trying to see
who could outdo each other.
Yeah, who could sleep with the most guys.
Only just.
Yeah, well, I had a convention that week and that was an unexpected hookup, so.
Yep.
It's time for the kink of the week.
All right, so it is time for the kink of the week.
Kink of the week!
Kink of the week this week is chastity.
And mainly chastity cages.
Yes.
Because obviously chastity is one thing, but chastity cages are a kink that are becoming more and more popular.
Yep. So I don't mind it. Occasionally.
He likes being locked up.
Occasionally.
So there's obviously lots of different cages and things out there. So obviously this one isn't a particularly small one. A lot of people wear a lot smaller than this, and the smaller ones are mainly there to make you feel small as well. So it's obviously a submissive thing. It can be a submissive thing.
Yep.
But a lot of people get a pleasure out of it because they, aren't jerking off, and they like to try and say, oh, I haven't jerked off for this long. And obviously with No Nut November, that's a popular thing as well. Like Locktober, things like that.
Yep.
Chastity was basically the next step in that evolution.
Yes, it's an interesting experience, and it's I've only done it a couple of times. This was a Temu purchase. I'll admit that. It works, does the job. It's pretty cool. It's an interesting experience, and definitely something I like just playing with occasionally. So yeah, when Darren lets me.
I don't have to let you. You just turn up with it on.
Yeah, I walk out to the living room and grab his hand and put it on my crutch, and he works it out pretty quickly.
So a lot of people like it as well because they like to have more of a hands-off orgasm. So because they can't touch it or anything like that, they still try and come. So it's not all about chastity. It's all about not touching your dick, basically. Control. Yes. That's better.
Yep.
Yeah. So that has become a really big thing. I have seen a lot of people who go for the really, really small ones, which are basically a flat. It's basically flat. And there's a hole in the middle, and that's your pee hole.
Yep.
And they like to keep it on as long as possible. Some people for a couple of months, things like that. Obviously, as well, it is going to make you look a lot smaller in some cases, especially if you go for the really, really small cages.
This one is a relatively small one, but it's, yeah.
Relatively, but I've seen...
Oh yeah, there is much, much smaller ones out there.
Like half the size is popular.
Yep.
But yeah, the flat ones scare me.
Yeah.
Mainly because I'm the opposite. I like to make everything down there bigger.
Yes.
Again, it's something that is good to try out, especially if you can get cheap stuff.
Yeah.
We don't recommend using cheap stuff over the long term, but if it's just to try out, it's obviously better to try out with something that doesn't cost you a lot of money.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, if you realise that you don't like it, you're not wasting hundreds of dollars on something, unless you've got hundreds of dollars to waste. If you do, send it to us because we don't. I think this was like $10. You can't get them on Temu anymore because not long after I purchased it, Temu stopped all adult toys.
Mainly because they were shady and dodgy.
Yeah, because they're shady and dodgy. Yeah, but AliExpress, same thing basically. So yeah. Being able to buy it for 10, maybe $15, I think it was $10, and try it out, and I went, oh, I actually don't mind this. I don't think I need to go buy a more expensive one because the quality of that one's actually pretty good. It's the right size for me, and it's So I guess, I'm using notes. I guess like the chastity as a whole and caging has been around for a very, very, very long, like medieval times. Like the noblemen would put chastity belts on their wives as they went to war, and then so it was obviously very, very different back then, but it's the same concept. It was one person controlling the other one. So whereas in today's terms, it's the same thing. Like you can put that on yourself, and then you're controlling yourself, or your partner could put that on you to control you because that's what you like. And it's
And obviously the other side of that is if you're the one putting the cage on someone, you have control of them. So often you get to keep the key, which means they can't take it off until you say so. So,
Yep.
another good thing to note is how they actually work as well.
Yep.
Most of them have some sort of ring around that goes around the base of your penis and your balls.
So
Penis?
this one,
Or balls, or both.
the base of the balls and penis, yeah. So
Yes.
so this one is 2-part or 3 parts. You got the lock. You got basically like a cock ring. So that basically you put that around like a cock ring. Then the hardest part is that then goes over the shaft, obviously, and then you put the two together, and then you line up the hole and line up all your bits and not get hair caught. That's the worst bit.
Hence why a lot of people shave when they doing chastity.
Right, and then then obviously the key goes in, or the lock goes in, if I can get it in. Locks. Oops, hang on. Locks, and then it's locked on. So this part is around the base of your like a cock ring is around the base of the shaft and the balls, and this just goes over the shaft, and there's no, and your balls basically just come through that little gap there, which isn't huge. So yeah, so that's sort of roughly how they work, and it is also very restrictive, obviously, because that is the whole point.
So when you're wearing it, how does it feel? Does it make you more aware of your dick while you're wearing it?
I find it does, yes. So I've only used it probably 3 or 4 times in the last 6 months since I got it, and generally I'm just sitting around the house on a Sunday.
And you can tell he's not wearing it now.
Yes, I'm not wearing it now. It is a Sunday. It feels restrictive. It feels like you notice it's there. You notice that
Does it make you hard while you're wearing it?
a little bit. Yes, it does. But it does restrict it as well. There's a lot of pressure between that little bit here where the balls go through, and it does make it very restrictive, a bit like a cock ring does. So yeah.
As always with the Kink of the Week, if you do have any questions,
Comments or
queries,
put your input. We're open to any. We're open to discussions. We're open to people coming to us in the comments, coming to us through DM, and we can
help you out,
or you can help us out, or
point you in the right direction,
or vice versa. Obviously, we're not medical or experts in any way, so anything we do say, consult.
Yep.
Someone more professional than us. So,
but yeah, we're just here to chat about it and make it a conversation
and have fun.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing. If you don't like it, don't do it.
Yeah, that's it. Like that's why I spent $15 on that one or $10 on that one and went, do I like it? Cool. If not, it sits in the drawer and never gets pulled out again. So, hasn't gone in the drawer yet. So that says something. I should put it on Darren.
Yeah.
I might do that today.
Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed today's episode. I know we have enjoyed talking about everything we've talked about today. These have been really fun so far, so we want to keep it that way. As before, any questions? If you have any topic suggestions, hit us up.
Yep. All right. If you have enjoyed today's episode, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to this channel. We would love to see it grow into something big. Like we don't really care, but at the same time, we do care about people who spend the time actually to watch our episodes. So if you do want to leave a comment, leave a like, leave a thumbs up, we appreciate that. You'll find us on all platforms at backroomgear.store. That's YouTube, TikTok, Facebook, Instagram, X, Blue Sky. I think it's the same, Blue Sky. Yep. So yeah, we're on all the major platforms, and we are posting shorts of these to those platforms as well. So go check those out and give us a little bit of love on those platforms. It helps us grow. Yeah.
Anyway, guys, that's enough prattling from us. I think we've talked your ear off, and we hope to hear and see you in the comments. But anyway, Enjoy the rest of your day and stay kinky, people. Wow, what 2-word sign off.
2 words, I
Can't
can't
get
even
it
do it.
right. And Gordon.
Stay kinky, everyone. See you guys.
See ya.